If you can fit into this, Zahir Ulkim raised a glass of champagne, pointing to the red dress hanging in the center of the hall. I'll marry you right now. The explosion of laughter was instantaneous. 200 guests at the Capitol's fashion ball on Manhattan turned to see who was the object of the joke. Anya Carter, 29 years old, a hotel cleaner where the event was taking place, stood frozen in the corner of the hall with a cleaning cart in her hands. The grey uniform, 2 sizes too big, hung loosely on her body, hiding the curves she had learned to be ashamed of. Zahir, 42 years old, an oil magnate from the Persian Gulf with an estimated fortune of $3 billion, laughed too loudly. It was the showy laughter of a man accustomed to being the center of attention. The white turban on his head swayed as he gestured dramatically. I'm serious. Does anyone have a pen and paper? Let's draw up a contract right now. The dress in question was the central exhibit of the show, an exclusive creation by French designer Larson Beaumont, valued at $850,000. Size 2, wasp waist, structured neckline, a work of art created for bodies honed in elite gyms and supported by private dietitians. Anya felt the heat rise to her neck, coloring her face red, which sharply contrasted with her black skin. Her eyes filled with tears that she fiercely tried to hold back. Not here. Not in front of them. In 6 years of working at luxurious events, she had learned that rich people have a special talent for turning humiliation into entertainment. Come on, darling, a woman's voice in a gold dress cut through the air. Proposals from lonely billionaires don't come every day. More laughter. Flashes from mobile phones capturing the moment for Instagram stories. Metropolitan ball funny moments. She lowered her head, gripping the cart handle so tightly that her knuckles turned white, and began to walk away. Each step was a struggle against the desire to run. Every laugh behind her was a stab in the back. Wait, Zahir shouted, his voice still tinged with cruel amusement. Don't run away. The offer stands for 30 days. If in 30 days you fit into this dress, I'll keep my word. The crowd cheered as if watching a show. She didn't look back. She pushed the cart through the service door, and as soon as the door closed, muffling the sound of laughter, she leaned against the cold wall of the service corridor and finally let the tears flow. But something happened in that empty corridor, between stacks of leather towels and the smell of cleaning supplies. Something inside her didn't break, it transformed. Shame began to boil until it turned into something else. Anger, determination, a promise. What none of those easily amused guests knew was that Anya Carter was not just a cleaner. 6 years ago, she was a fashion design student at Parsons School of Design, with a full scholarship and excellent grades, until her mother, at 54, suffered a devastating stroke. Anya had to choose between her dreams and her family's survival. She chose survival. She dropped out of college 2 semesters before graduation, took 3 jobs, and cared for her mother, who was paralyzed on the left side. For 6 years, she swallowed humiliations like this because she needed the money for physical therapy, medications, and rent. But that night, something changed. She wiped her tears with the back of her hand, straightened her shoulders, and made a silent promise to herself. In 30 days, she would return. Not for the ridiculous wedding proposal, not for their approval, but to prove that no one, has the right to define her by her appearance or position. What Zahir Ulkim also didn't know was that this innocent joke was about to set off a chain of events that would not only destroy his carefully built reputation but also uncover secrets he had buried deep under layers of money and influence. Because she would return not alone, and when she returned, it wouldn't just be her body that changed. If you want to know how an invisible cleaner became the bomb that blew up the life of an arrogant billionaire, subscribe to the channel. Because what happens next will prove that underestimating someone who has nothing to lose is the most costly mistake you can make. Anya didn't sleep that night. Sitting in the cramped kitchen of her Bronx apartment, she opened her old laptop and typed 3 words into the search bar. Zahir Ulkim scandals. The results filled the screen. Articles about his oil company, photos on yachts, charity dinners. But amid the glamorous news, Anya found something else. Vague forums from former employees, complaints about labor rights violations filed cautiously, rumors of out-of-court settlements with women who worked for him. Interesting, she murmured, methodically saving links. The next morning at 5 a.m., Anya was at the 24-hour gym 3 blocks from her home. It wasn't a fancy place, rusty dumbbells and mirrors, no air conditioning, but the monthly fee was $20, and the owner, a former boxer named Rita, had an impartial look. First time? Rita asked, watching as Anya stood uncertainly at the entrance. I have 30 days to fit into a size 34 dress. Rita raised an eyebrow. And why do you want to do that? Because someone bet that I couldn't. A slow smile appeared on Rita's face. Then we'll make that son of a bitch eat his words. But you have to follow my training program literally every day, no exceptions. Anya nodded. What she didn't say was that she wanted not just to fit into the dress, she wanted to destroy the man who thought she was a joke. Over the next few days, Anya built a brutal routine. Gym at 5 a.m., work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., another 2 hours at the gym, then home to care for her mother. And every night, after her mother fell asleep, she returned to her laptop. That's how she found Yara Mansa, Zahir's former executive secretary, who had sued the company 3 years ago for sexual harassment and discrimination. The case was settled out of court with a confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement, plus a payout. But Yara had an anonymous blog where, without naming names, she told her story. Anya sent a carefully worded message. 2 hours later, her phone rang. "You're that woman from the video," Yara said without preamble. "The humiliation at the Capitol Ball. I saw it on Twitter. It went viral." Anya's stomach dropped. It went viral? 2 million views, but most comments are on your side. She paused. "Why did you come to me?" "Because I saw your lawsuit. And I have a feeling you're not the only one." Silence on the other end, then. "Meet me tomorrow. I need to look you in the eyes before I tell you what I know." They met at a discreet cafe in Queens. Yara, 34, her dark hair pulled into a perfect bun, had eyes that had shed every possible tear and now held only steel. "Zahir Al-Kim is a monster," she said bluntly. "But a smart monster. He documents everything about everyone except himself. He has files on employees, business partners, even his own family. He uses them as insurance. Where does he store them? I don't know, but I know who might know." She slid a piece of paper across the table. "Jamal, his former driver for 8 years. He was fired last month for breaching trust. Actually, because he saw something he shouldn't have." Meanwhile, Zahir continued his life as if nothing had happened. His advisors began to notice changes. He obsessively checked social media. He searched for the humiliation video. He read the comments. "This guy is disgusting. Imagine having so much money and so little class. Does anyone know who this woman is? I want to send money." For the first time in years, Zahir Al-Kim felt something his money couldn't buy. Public shame. He called his PR team. "Delete this from the internet." "Sir, we've tried. The more we delete, the more people repost it. There are online petitions with 50,000 signatures demanding you apologize." Zahir angrily hung up. This insignificant woman was ruining his image. While he worried about public relations, Anya found Jamal, the former driver, a 50-year-old man with a tired face, who agreed to talk for one reason. "He destroyed my daughter. She worked in his office. She was 23. He harassed her. When she refused, he fired her and spread lies. She hasn't been able to find work for 6 months. She's depressed." Jamal looked her in the eyes. "If you're going to take this man down, I'll help." And then Jamal revealed the secret that would change everything. Zahir kept his compromising files in a digital safe, but the physical backup was in his personal lawyer's apartment on Manhattan, and Jamal knew where the key was. 28 days after the humiliation, Anya was unrecognizable. She had lost 18 pounds, but it wasn't just that. Her eyes had a new intensity, her movements were precise, calculated. Rita watched her with pride as she completed her last workout. "You did it," Rita said. "But I have a feeling this was never just about the dress." Anya smiled without answering. That night, she had 2 goals. Fit into the dress and destroy Zahir Al-Kim. The plan was risky. Jamal got access to the lawyer's apartment. The man would be out of town for the weekend. She had gathered 3 other women who were Zahir's victims, all ready to testify if there was concrete evidence. Anya had achieved something none of them expected. 2 weeks ago, while cleaning an executive office at the hotel after an event, she found Zahir's personal tablet left on the table. He would come back for it, she knew, but in the 15 minutes she had, Anya did something she had learned in her days at design school. She photographed the compromising emails open on the screen. Conversations about bribes to environmental inspectors, explicit messages to female employees, suspicious bank transfers. It wasn't everything, but it was enough to start. The Capital Fashion Ball was holding a second closing event, a charity auction where the red dress would be sold. Zahir would be there, of course. He was the biggest owner. And he had no idea that Anya would be there too. The entrance to the ballroom at the Plaza Hotel was lined with limousines. When Anya stepped out of a simple Uber, she wore a discreet black dress she had sewn herself, a skill she had never lost. The red dress would come later. Yara and the other women were already positioned among the guests, mobile phone cameras at the ready. Jamal was outside in a rented car with a flash drive containing copies of all the lawyers' backup documents. Everything was calculated to the second. Zahir strutted through the hall like a peacock, handing out handshakes and overly white smiles. When he saw Anya entering, he didn't recognize her at first. She had changed not only her body but her hair, posture, everything. Only when she approached him directly did something click in his head. "Do you remember me?" Anya asked, her calm voice cutting through his conversation with investors. Zahir blinked, then his face paled. "You said 30 days. She pointed to the red dress displayed on a mannequin in the center of the salon. "I can try it on now, or do you prefer I do it in front of everyone?" The salon began to quiet as people realized what was happening. Someone whispered, "It's her, the woman from the video." Zahir forced a nervous laugh. "Listen, it was a joke." "I didn't mean," Anya interrupted him, pulling out her phone from her pocket. "Because I have the whole recording. 2 million views already. Want to make it 3 million? A murmur went through the guests. Mobile phone cameras began to rise. "What do you want?" Zahir hissed, his facade of politeness cracking. "Justice." She nodded to Yara and the 3 other women, who approached, forming a semicircle. "I want you to look at these women and admit what you did to them." Zahir's face went through a sequence of expressions. Confusion, recognition, panic. "I don't know who." Yara Mansa, lawsuit for sexual harassment, 2020. Sarah Chen, confidential settlement, 2019. Nina Rodriguez, fired after refusing your advances, 2021. And Layla Al-Sait, Anya paused dramatically. "Your own cousin, silenced by your family with $2 million. Gasps went through the room. Layla, a 28-year-old woman in an elegant hijab, stepped forward, her eyes glistening not with lies but with tears. "You're crazy," Zahir whispered, but his voice trembled. "This is a lie. Then explain these emails." She pointed to the screen that was supposed to display photos from the charity event. Images began to appear. Emails, messages, bank transfers, all enlarged for the whole room. The sound system played a recording of Zahir's voice. "If she doesn't accept the offer, destroy her reputation." "I don't care how." The silence was absolute. Journalists present at the event began typing frantically. Flashes exploded from all sides. "How did you get this?" Zahir was pale as a sheet. "You underestimated a cleaner." She stepped closer. "But here's the interesting part. I did fit into the dress. I tried it on yesterday. Perfect size 34. So technically, you owe me a wedding." Nervous laughter went through the hall, but Anya wasn't laughing. "But I don't want to marry you. I want you to pay for what you've done. And not just to me." She looked around the hall. How many women here have been disrespected, humiliated by men like him? Men who think money gives them the right to treat people like trash. Applause started, first timid, then thunderous. Women stood, then men too. 2 security guards approached Zahir. "Sir, the police would like to ask you a few questions about the bribery documented in these emails." Zahir's empire crumbled in real time. His lawyer was arrested while trying to destroy evidence. 3 companies cancelled multi-million-dollar contracts by midnight. The confrontation video went viral with 15 million views in 24 hours. As Zahir was let out, he looked at her one last time, not with anger, but with something worse. Belated realization that he had destroyed himself the moment he decided she wasn't worthy of respect. 3 months later, Anya's Bronx apartment had an unexpected addition. A professional sewing table, gifted by companies that saw her story. She bent over sky blue fabric when her mother, now moving a bit better after intensive physical therapy funded by online donations, entered with the support of a cane. "Dear, they're talking about you on TV again." Anya smiled without lifting her eyes from her work. "It's nothing, Mom." But her mother turned up the volume. The anchor spoke excitedly. In developments in the Alkim scandal, the businessman was sentenced to 3 years in prison for bribery and obstruction of justice. Additionally, a $50 million fund was created to compensate victims of harassment in his companies. Anya finally looked at the screen. She didn't feel vengeful satisfaction, only the peace that comes from closing a chapter. Zahir Alkim lost everything. His company was sold off in pieces to cover fines and lawsuits. His family in the Persian Gulf publicly disowned him. Tabloids followed him as he left court in increasingly cheap suits, without the arrogance that wants defined every step. He became exactly what he always feared: insignificant. But Anya didn't build her victory on his ruins. She created something of her own. With the media attention came opportunities. Parsons School of Design offered her a full scholarship to complete her studies. 3 fashion brands approached her for consultations. And the red dress, that very dress, was donated to a charity auction that raised $1,200,000 for education for low-income women. Anya didn't buy it. She didn't need to anymore. She had already created 12 dresses of her own, each telling the story of a woman she met during those 30 transformative days. She opened a non-governmental organization providing legal support to victims of corporate harassment. Sarah returned to work in tech, now at a company that valued her. Nina launched a podcast about survival and resilience that entered the top 10 in the country. Layla confronted her family, refused to stay silent, and became a spokesperson for Arab women facing violence. On a rainy day, Anya received a letter. No sender, just a carelessly written name. Zahir. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I owe you this. Your mercy forced me to look in the mirror for the first time in decades. I saw a monster. I'm paying for my actions, but the greatest punishment is knowing I caused irreparable pain to people who didn't deserve it. You didn't destroy me, you exposed me. And that was more merciful than I've ever been to anyone. Anya read the letter once, carefully folded it, and put it in a drawer, not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Some men learn too late that power without humanity is just oppression in expensive clothes. On her graduation day from Parsons, Anya walked onto the stage to receive her diploma amid loud applause. Her mother cried in the front row. Rita, the trainer, waved from the city. Yara and the other women were there, a small family forged in fire and resilience. During the valedictorian speech, they had asked her to speak. She approached the microphone in a red dress. Not that one, the one she designed herself, simpler, more honest, more her. A few months ago, someone told me I would never fit into a dress. They didn't know that for years I had been trying to fit into spaces that weren't made for me. Jobs that humiliated me, relationships that silenced me, expectations that broke me. She paused. The dress wasn't the problem. The problem was that I thought I needed to change to deserve respect. Applause erupted, but Anya raised her hand. So I didn't come here to tell a story of revenge. I came to tell a story of recovery. Because the best response to someone who humiliates you isn't to destroy them. It's to build something so true, so strong, that their opinion becomes just distant noise. Later, in the audience, a 19-year-old girl approached her timidly. Sorry to bother you. I saw your video when I was 17. My stepfather called me fat. He said I'd never amount to anything. But seeing you changed something in me. Now I'm here, the first in my family to go to college. Anya hugged the girl, feeling warm tears on her shoulder. It was in that moment that she fully understood. The real victory wasn't fitting into the dress or exposing a billionaire. It was becoming living proof that no one can define your worth if you don't let them. The sun was setting over New York as Anya walked home, diploma in hand and heart light. She passed the gym where it all started. Rita was closing up and waved through the window. She passed the cafe where she met Yara. She passed the hotel where she was humiliated. She stared at the building for a long time, then smiled and kept walking. Because some places serve to teach you who you no longer want to be. And once you've learned the lesson, you don't need to go back. If this story touched you, if you've ever been judged by your appearance, silenced because of your position, or humiliated by those who should respect you, subscribe to the channel and share. Because the greatest revolution isn't proving you can fit into spaces that rejected you. It's creating your own spaces where everyone fits. Like if you believe that dignity isn't begged for, it's earned. And remember, when someone tries to,